The Hitch-Hiker, a detour through fear and the long highway home. Nan Adams, age 27, a buyer for a New York department store, points the hood west and calls it a vacation. On Route 11 in Pennsylvania, a tire blows, the car skids and the dream slips its first line. The mechanic arrives, glances at the rubber and the angels and deadpans. By rights, you shouldn't have called for a mechanic. Somebody should have called for a hearse. He totals the bill and tosses in another omen. Cheaper than a funeral, isn't it? Nan drives on because the ego always drives on. Her name itself hides the thesis. Nan as non, a hint of non-being trying to purchase a self by motion and merchandise. She is a buyer of goods and a buyer of illusions. The car is the body, the highway is time, and the vacation is the Son of God's supposed break from heaven. Then he appears. A shabby, mousy scarecrow of a man with a raised thumb and an unblinking face. Not menacing, really, she narrates, if anything drab. Wherever she goes, there he is. Wherever I stop, I see him. No matter how far I travel or how fast I go, he's ahead of me. It's vague, because that's what that hitchhiker is. He's vague. Vagueness is the tell because truth does not perform. It simply stands, inevitable, quiet, and already here. To the ego, inevitability reads as terror. The raised thumb is the simplest gesture in travel and the deepest in metaphysics. Take me with you, says the world. Admit I'm already with you, whispers the Holy Spirit. Nan asks strangers about hitchhikers on turnpikes and is told they're rare to the point of folly. That is another clue because only the split mind sees its projection and calls it pursuit. At the railroad crossing, the car stalls, the train bears down, and panic slaps the ignition back to life. She reverses, survives, and then sees him waiting on the far side, as calm as arithmetic. The scene is the parable. The ego mistakes survival for proof of life and calls it victory. It is only continued denial. In New Mexico, she recruits a sailor, a temporary special relationship to ward off the companion. She offers a ride to San Diego, and failing that, the old bargain of bodies for safety. He cannot see what she projects, and when she swerves to hit the figure that he does not see, he chooses sanity and steps away. Specialness cannot defend against truth because it is made of the same fear that invented the defense. In Arizona, the payphone becomes a confessional. A stranger's voice answers at home in New York and reports the rupture in time. Since the death of her daughter, killed 6 days ago. A tire blew out in Pennsylvania and the car overturned. Continuity implodes, and with it the pretense of forward motion. Nan says, "The fear has left me now, I'm numb." That is not peace, it is the ego after the plug has been pulled. Emotion drains when the story cannot be held together any longer. She lifts the visor and looks to the mirror for a self, and truth looks back. Thin grey man, cheap shabby suit, eyes like a quiet verdict. "I believe you're going my way." He does not seize her, force her, threaten her, or chase her. He simply sits where denial finally stops. This is the holy flip the episode hides in plain daylight. Death in the body is not the event because bodies were never the life. The event is the end of denial, which the ego calls death and the spirit calls awakening. Nan's blowout was the end of a dream, and the cross-country chase was the detour the dreamer imagined to avoid the end. Rod Serling names the place of avoidance with surgical poetry. The Twilight Zone is the middle ground between light and shadow, the liminal band where the ego performs its last theatre. Call it the vestibule of acceptance, the zone where inevitability stands with its thumb out. Here is the metaphysical cast list made simple. Nan is the split mind insisting on body identity. The car is the body, a vehicle that seems to carry you away from where you already are. The highway is linear time, an endless detour pretending to be a destination. The hitchhiker is the Holy Spirit's inevitability, truth without aggression. The mechanic is the first witness who blurts the secret before the ego can dress it. The sailor is the special relationship that cannot make denial safe. The phone call is the holy instant where continuity collapses and only the present remains. And the final line is the most merciful question you will ever be asked. Are you ready to stop running? Are you ready to admit that the companion was never outside the car? Are you willing to let the one who is already going your way ride the rest of the way home? Because home is not west or east, and it is not Los Angeles or Manhattan. Home is the end of resistance to what cannot die. Rod Serling would like a word before we park the vehicle. Nan Adams, age 27. She believed she was crossing a continent, but she was circling the edges of her own denial. Her car was her body. Her road was time. Her hitchhiker was the truth she could not leave behind. She thought he was death, and found he was only life reminding her of itself. And when the running ended, the journey ended. There are no detours from reality. There is only the long highway home which passes straight through the Twilight Zone.